All right, bro. Here we are.
Yeah.
My guy Antwon Vinson
Yes, sir.
for Spitters Only.
Spitters only.
Glad to have you, my man.
I'm glad to be here, bro. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. We're going to just start from the top. Let's talk about your upbringing and your childhood growing up.
Born and raised in the Central District. Raised by my grandmother with my two older siblings, my older sister, my older brother. Just growing up, just like as 90s kids, ripping and running around the neighborhood and just getting to it. Just trying to figure out life, trying to figure out where my spot is in that life, and just trying to make it happen for myself.
Okay. What was your favorite part of your childhood?
I would say, I probably would say my imagination. It's definitely been something that I've always kept with me. But as a child, like your imagination, like is like a flowing river, and it's like unchecked. When you become an adult, like people love to just damper that imagination. So, just thinking about all the things I want to do, thinking about all the things I want to accomplish in my life. I would say my imagination. I would also say just like my family, spending time with my grandmother, spending time with my friends, like just growing up, just trying to like get into, like life, just getting into life and just trying to figure out like where my spot is and who my crew is, and, just spending time with family and just being as creative as possible.
You talk about you being from the Central District.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you was born and raised.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about the CD, bro. What's the most favorite memory you have just being in the CD?
Most favorite memory I had of being in the CD was literally just like summer nights, just running through all the neighborhoods like with all my friends, like until the street lights came on. We all knew like you had to be home before the street lights came on, but before that we were just running like with our bikes and just like with my friends, just like running all through the CD and just just having fun and just being black kids, just having fun in this all black neighborhood, which it was back then. It was something to cherish. Now looking at it in hindsight, it was pretty insane that we just had that type of upbringing. We felt like we could just always be outside and we could just always be, in that community. So yeah, that's my favorite memory, is just being able to just rip and run through there with like my friends and my crew and my family. So yeah.
So let's talk about the difference now and what you see versus then. Being from there, born and raised, and again seeing how it is now.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that?
I would say, because I just most recently moved back to the CD, so I moved away from the CD back in 2010, and then moved out south, and then moved out north, and then I just most recently came back in early this month. I literally just moved back, so I've been getting acclimated back into the community, seeing what's still there, what's new that's there. And the thing that's the most different for me that I can sense now is there's way more art on the wall. There's more murals. There's more, like artists that I like, more painters that I love, more musicians that are out here. But I'd also say one of the things that's most different is it's a lot. It's from being born and raised there. It's more when you're walking through. It's more of a damn. I remember that. Damn, I remember that. Damn, I remember that. Damn, I remember that person. Because there's murals of all the people that grew up in the city that are from the city that are all there now. You know, dead or alive, they're all still there, and you're like, damn. You know, that's bro. Damn, that's so and so. Or damn, that's Martin Luther King. Or damn, that's Langston. Like having the community being uplifted and being shown on an artistic level is like the dopest thing. So being born and raised there, and then not seeing all the knowing all that stuff is there, but then not having the visual of seeing it, but now coming back now and seeing all the stuff that was built in this neighborhood is like super, super dope.
Are you a fan of like Amazon and all the big, like let's say that I'm sure you see the gentrification,
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I would say being born and raised there, I would say, when I was coming up, it was pretty violent. It was pretty just pretty hectic at the time. So as far as gentrification is concerned, I know it still gets hectic and it still gets busy, but it's not as bad as it was. Like when the murder rate was through the roof. But now at the time, when that was happening, I was a kid / teenager. Now I'm a grown man with kids. So now I'm glad that I can walk through the neighborhood with my son and with my wife to make sure, everything is good. There ain't gonna be no craziness. So in that way, it's good. But in the way of uprooting people and making them go different, go far out north or go far out south. I know so many of my friends that's happening to. It happened to me. So I didn't like that aspect of it, but the aspect of violence and just building up the community as opposed to tearing it down, that's the best part of it.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. What schools did you go to, bro?
I went to first. I went to Leshai. Went to Leshai for elementary. Then I left Leshai for Martin Luther King. Also for 4th and 5th grade. And then after I left Martin Luther King, I went to Meany Middle School. Then after Meany, I was supposed to go to Garfield, but at the time the waiting list was too crazy because I lived 5 minutes away from there. So I was like, I'm just gonna go to Garfield. The waiting list was crazy, so I'm like, I'll just do the next best thing. And then I went to Franklin High School for my whole high school years, and then yeah.
You play any sports?
No, I was the quiet kid, drumming on lunch tables and doing the, having the pins and Twan, make a beat. And everybody just be freestyling to it. I'd be I was that kid. But during lunch and stuff, I'd definitely be hooping or when we were playing football, I'd be one of those kids too, but not team sports. But I was always creative. I was always in my own head as far as literally always hearing beats, but never having the outlet to really do them. So I had them in my head and I could do them with my hands. So it was just only a matter of time before I figured out how to really put it down.
Okay. What made you rock with your real name as your producer name opposed to, let's say, a nickname or an alias?
Well, I had a couple of nicknames. That's the funniest part. So my first one was Reckless. So my producer name was Reckless. So that was the first one. I was like, ooh, yeah, that shit sound dope, Reckless. I'm yeah, that's dope. And then after that, my second one was called The Mastermind, because everyone was like, man, you know how you put these beats together, how you put all this shit together? Bro, you're the mastermind. I'm yeah, that shit sounds dope. I'm the mastermind. And then at some point, I think it was like '09 or something, I just got to a point where I'm like, man, like, fuck all these aliases, fuck all this, like, gimmick shit. Like, I just want to just be me, you know? Like, because it's not the aliases doing this shit, it's me, you know? And it's always been me. So I was just like, let me just be myself. So that's how I went with the name, my full name.
Yeah, bro. It's crazy. I've known you for about exactly, or right under about 10 years now. I don't know if you know that, but that's when I met Brandon.
Really?
Yeah, and not too long after that, I remember he introduced me to you, and he was showing me your beats, showing me stuff y'all worked on.
Yeah.
You know, spoke highly of you all the time.
Yeah.
Shout out Brandon. You know.
Shout out Brandon.
Hey,
Ayo Mecca.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite guys on the planet, man.
Facts.
Anyways, how and when did you get started making music? Like when did you first start making the beats actually?
So back in 2005, I was still in high school. It was my sophomore year, and then one of my good friends, shout out to Blake, he hit me up and was like, hey bro, like I just found this new program that we can like make music on. I'm like, what's it called? And he's like, it's called Acid Pro 4.0. So I went down to his house. He showed me how to do it. And literally from that day on was like, yeah, there it is. And it was just like what I was saying, like when I was like, my imagination was like running as a child. And I just had to wait for that opportunity to get the right programmer, to get the right thing to where I could do my thing. Like this was the beginning. So from that point on, I've never looked back.
What would you say is the influence that actually got you started? And who's your biggest influence right now that keeps you going and creating?
I would say my influences at the time that really like influenced me to like make records and just be as creative as I could was Timbaland. You know, Tim is still one of my most favorite like producers, like just on how creative he is, just the different weird sounds that he uses, but makes the shit sound dope. He's one of the illest. Another one is Dr. Dre. Just like on how he sequences his shit, on how his shit is so crispy and clean, like how he mixes it. And just the overall big sound of it was just like super, super dope for me. So I'm like, damn, like I want my shit to sound like this, or at least feel like this. Who is influencing me now to make records? I probably say at this point, like I still love Tim and I still love Dre, but right now it's probably my sons. You know, they are the ones who help me get up every day just to get it cracking. And like my youngest, he's 3, he's about to be 4 next month. Like he is like the coolest kid, and like I've already made like 2 beats with him. Like the first time he got on the microphone, he was 2 months old. Like when we were working on music, I had him like doing like some like little cries and stuff and some little grunts. And then like I flipped it and then like made a beat out of it. I was like, yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's what keeps me motivated right now to just keep doing it. It's just my kids.
1,000,000%. That's man. And you know, major respect, bro, for always, you know, I always see you posting about your son, and
always, man.
You know, seeing the pictures and just seeing how much in high regard you have, you know, your son, how much you hold him up, you know what I'm saying? And that's what us black men need, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
right.
I don't care what nobody say, you know, that's what we need, you know. So anyone that's actually doing that and I can see it, I'm always, you know, get them their flowers on
bro.
that. You know
and us as just black men, we need to see it more from other black men, you know? Like, regardless of what the media says, because they're going to say whatever they're going to say. So, but like us as just you know, black men together, we need to see each other like building our kids up and building ourselves up and building our women up, you know, because no one else is going to do it for us but us. So that's why I do it. They're my number one priority.
Yeah, that's dope. Let's talk about your discography, bro. Before we get there, though, I remember already knowing you have a big catalog.
Yeah.
And been doing this for a good little minute now. You know.
Yeah.
But when I walked into your studio and seen all the multi-million stream plaques, I was heavily reminded how much you have a hand in making a lot of dope music.
Mm-hmm.
To name a few, Get the Gap, Raz Simone,
Yes, sir.
Mozzie,
Yep.
Sam LaChow,
Yeah.
Brainstorm,
The homies.
King Lee's.
The homies. Tacoma.
I mean, that's those are some dope artists, bro.
Geniuses.
No, 1,000,000%. Name 5 of your favorite artists out of all the artists you worked with so far, and why?
Damn. Okay, so top 5, I say first, I would say Raz Simone, because like me and Raz have been through hell and back. We've been through thick and thin through this rap shit, and it's became deeper than rap with me and him. So he's just one of those artists that is fearless. Like, the thing that I like most about him is like he's fearless and he'll try anything, you know. Like, and as a producer, like that's all you ask for an artist is like let's just like collaborate. Let's do some hardcore collaborating and let's just see like what we can just come up with. And then when you do that, you come up with shit that you couldn't even believe. You're like, damn, like this came out from this. So shout out to Raz, I'll give him that. Next, I say Gab, because obviously Gab is the fucking queen of rap as far as Seattle goes, and even beyond that, you know, like when I first met Gab, she was so dope. I was like, man, like I need to work with her. It's funny because when I first met her, we got snowed into an apartment that I was going to go work on music with, and I didn't even know that she was going to be there. But we got snowed in and couldn't leave until like the snow went down. So I had all my equipment, and then she was there, and we were there for like 3-4 days. But she was like, you make beats? I was like, hell yeah. You rap? She's like, yeah. She was like, let's do it. So from that point on, we have not looked back. So, and Gab is one of the dopest MCs, male or female. She's
1,000,000%.
one of the most incredible artists that I've been with, and she's funny as shit, and she's real as shit too. So, you know, shout out to Gab. So that's number 2. I'll say number 3. I say Sam LaChow, the homie. Like, it's crazy because me and Sam have only worked on 3 songs together, but like each song has like blown up. Like the first song we did was "Good to Be Home," which is like a Seattle anthem, and we had been always talking about like working, like, oh, let's work, and like timing never permitted it. But then like once we got in the studio, like we had that magic happen, like with "Good to Be Home," and put it out. That shit like just took off. Like I was on tour at the time, like when he dropped it, but then like it just took off. It just gained millions and millions and millions of streams. That was my very first plaque that I got, was from that song, "Good to Be Home." It was my first thing that I ever saw 1 million streams from. So I'm like, damn, this shit is crazy. So we got that song, and then in 2020 we dropped Lady Sunday, which every year that it's been out, it's went up 1 million streams every single year. So in 2020 it went to 1 million streams. 2021 it hit another 1 million streams. 2022 it hit another 1 million streams. So I'm like, damn, that shit's crazy, you know. And then shooting the video out in Pasco, that was dope. Shout out to Devin, his dog. Like, his dog is dope as shit. He's the one that's on the album cover. But Yeah, I'll say Sam is one of the most incredible and most efficient artists that I've ever worked with. So that's number 3. Number 4, I would say. King Lee's. Shout out to Tacoma. Ever since I met Lee's has just been one of the funniest fucking dudes, one of the realest dudes I've ever been around in his music shit. And he's another one of mine that we just like hit it off like easily and was just like, hey, let's work. So we worked, and then we were out in Paris at the time, and we had a song called Dead Presidents. And we were like, damn, we need a video to this. We need to shoot a video to this. So we randomly, Lee's randomly found a videographer out in Paris and was like, hey, can you shoot this video for me? Like, it's called Dead Presidents. And the dude's like, yeah, of course. So we went all throughout Paris, like Eiffel Tower, all that shit. And we shot the video. And and then the album dropped. So just like for how that happened, all that like stuff that transpired up until the dropping of the album, which was Stay Valuable. I did half the album. I did 5 records on there. I did Dead Presidents. I did Up to Me, Catalina, Choose Me, and Lonely. And that's still hands down one of my most favorite albums that I've been a part of. And that also did great numbers too. Number 5, I would say Fatal Luciano. My fellow Central District brother. Like, Fatal has been someone who I looked up to even before I was even making beats. So I met Fatal back at Jake One's home video, which was the first thing that I was in. And like, it was on MTV, and people had called me because I had the Beats by Dre headphones on in the video, and then people were like, hey, I saw you on MTV. I'm like, what? Like, from where? They're like, in the Jake One video, because I guess it premiered on MTV, so that was fucking dope. But I met Fatal there, and I told him, I'm like, man, let's work, bro. Like, I'm a huge fan of yours. Let's work. He's like, let's get it. So it took a number of years before we got to work, but once we got to work, it was another one too. It was just like fire to a flame, and we just clicked. And we worked on his album, What the Fuck Happened. I did 6 records on there. My most favorite one on there is March 9th. It was a dedication to Biggie. And it's crazy how that worked, because I made the beat back in 2016. And I was like, nah, like, this shit needs to be like dropped like on March 9th. And this is before I even sent the beat to Fatal. So I was like, this needs to be dropped on like March 9th. Like, someone got to do a song to this. And then Fatal, I gave the beat to Fatal in that year, and then he wrote something. And then we dropped it on March 9th, 2017. 20 years to the day that Biggie got killed. We dropped it on that day. And that's still hands down one of my favorite productions I've ever done. So I'd say that's my top 5. Raz, Gab, Sam, Lee's, Fatal. I know that was a long answer, but no, I had to go down that line. So
that's good. Yeah, they're dope for sure. What's your plans for the next 3 to 5 years as a producer, if you don't mind giving us a glimpse of that?
More music, more. As you said about like my discography, I've produced for a lot of artists. So right now I'm more focused on doing a lot more solo stuff. I just dropped my project Lightbulb Moments back in November. I got a project dropping in January called Hero's Journey. These are instrumental projects, but then after that I got some incredible stuff in the works. I can't really get into it right now, but like when it drops, people are gonna be like, yeah. So I will say that in these next couple of years, the music I release, the entire Northwest music scene can be proud of. I truly believe that. Like, the stuff I've been working on is exceptional, and I can't wait to release it and just like share it with the world, because I've been enjoying it, with me and my family, and if someone come through and I'll just play it for them, kind of get their ear on it. But these next couple of years I got some incredible stuff coming.
sure. When it comes to your beats and your process, paint us a picture of what that looks like.
The process is very free flowing. It's more free flowing than people think. You know, there's times to where I'll sit and just make like 3-5 beats a day, you know, and like do the basic of it. Boom. Okay, I like that vibe. Yep. Set that one to the side, move on to the next one. Do the same thing until you get like five or six ideas, and then you just kind of, you know, pick which one you want to bounce down to where you want to listen to it more, or if you want have these things that you want to change about it. Like, I would say that. And then there's another process to where it's like I get with a whole bunch of my musician friends, and then we just get in and we just jam. You know, like I'll have like a set thing, like a set like idea in mind, and then we'll just jam and then just churn out a whole bunch of music that can be used or could be sampled. So, you know, a cool thing that I've learned is like learning how to sample myself. You know, so where we'll just jam out and just have like, we're not even thinking about an artist like, okay, this is gonna be for this artist. It'll just be like, let's just jam out and just create some new music, some new material. And then I'll just take all that music back and then just flip it. Whether I'm just taking some of the saxophone out of this and then putting it there, or taking some of the guitar out and then put it there. Like really just learn how to resample and just create at the highest level. And then just be free while I'm creating. You know, have no limits.
What's your thoughts on leasing beats versus buying the exclusive outright off the jump? What's the pros and what's the cons in your perspective?
The only pro that I see for me is doing exclusive beats. I don't do leasing beats. Like, I have a hard line of like leasing beats because I know the headache that creates. I have a lot of producer friends that tell me the horror stories of like leasing and the exclusives and all that stuff. So I'm just like, I just want to be someone that, like, I've always wanted to be a producer that just tailor-made records for people specifically. Like, if you come to me like, hey, I want to make some beat, I want you to make a beat for me, I'll be like, okay. Like, I'll listen to your work and I'll be like, okay. Yeah, like all I do is exclusive, tailor-made custom beats. Now, if someone comes to me and is like, yeah, I may not want that, but if you have any beats that you want to show me, like, we can do that too. And then they can just purchase those outright. But as far as like leasing beats, like, I'm not with that. Like, I just know that it's just a huge headache that I just would love to avoid. So I just think, you know, making exclusive custom beats is more important.
What's your most funny in-studio memory with an artist you work with?
It was probably with the Jacka, when I was in the studio with the Jacka. Shout out to Jacka, R.I.P. It was back in 2011, and he had came in to do a session, and I had like all my music equipment and stuff, and then a whole bunch of people came in, you know, and I don't even know what to expect, but a whole bunch of people came in, and then he walks in, introduces himself. He's like, "Oh, yeah, you make the beats?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, like, let's get busy." And then there's all these people in here like drinking and smoking, and it's just a vibe. So it's like I've been in scenarios like that, but just like probably not even like making a beat like from scratch in that same environment. So I was like, okay, this is dope. This is gonna be a dope challenge. So, you know, and the shit can't be whack, because niggas will be telling you like, hey man, like scrap that, start that over. You never want to hear that. So I made the beat. Everybody's vibing. I'm seeing everybody vibe. I'm like, okay, that's dope. Then they record, and the shit came out hot. So I would say just like the situation as far as like being put on the spot to make a beat in that environment wasn't the funniest scenario, but it was like the dopest scenario because it allowed me to get better and become better at my craft.
we gonna talk about your favorites. What's your favorite Seattle rap era and why?
My favorite Seattle rap era is probably the 2010s because I was a part of it. I helped curate it, just with the artists that I was like producing for, whether it was Raz at the time, who had just got signed to 300, whether it was Gab, Sam LaChow, Fatal Luciano, King Lee's. I also got a chance to work with Mozzie. That was an incredible situation that happened. Sugar Free. But I would say the 2010s is like my most favorite era in Seattle rap because I was a part of curating that music during that time.
Who's some of your favorite local producers?
Oh man, like obviously A.O. Mecca, my bro Brandon, Jay Crocker, Rob Reeves, Brainstorm, Def D, my bro. Like we came up making beats like together, man. Like that's like my bro. There's also the OGs. You got Vitamin D. You got Jake One. I thought that was an incredible moment for me in my journey was being in the Jake One video, the home video. That was the first big thing that I've ever done, and it was just like I looked up to him so much, and then like to be in his video and get a dope cameo was crazy. So there's also him. There's also Cuddy Fresh. I think Cuddy Fresh is incredible. I think Skip, my guy Tarek, is fucking incredible. Incredible producer, incredible engineer. My bro, I know all these dudes too. That's the funniest thing when I say like my bro. I'll probably say Cha-Cha Malone, who works with Jay Park. He's fucking incredible. I was out in Korea with him and we tapped in, and he just has such a dope fucking style, just so unique, so upbeat, but just something fresh. I don't want to leave anybody out. Because they'd be like, damn, why you ain't shout me out? But yeah, I'll leave it at that. I think I got everybody.
Who's some of your favorite videographers, directors?
I would say Jacob Hill, my bro. He does amazing work. I would say Shooter in the Town. He's dope as fuck. We've done a couple of videos together, and we're working on a couple of the new videos. I say D2's Films. Like I went to high school with them, so I've seen them like come from the ground up, like doing their shit. I would say Ghost Boy. I don't know if he's from here. Is he from here?
I believe he's from here.
Okay. But his shit, his shit is dope. I know there's other people too. I'm drawing a blank on that. I'll say them.
What's some of your favorite spots to eat in the city?
Before my wife got in control of my diet and what I ate, which I love because I lost like 18 pounds from it. So I'm like, thank you, sweetie. Like it worked. You were right. But before that, I would say there was a really good pho spot on Broadway that I used to love. Like I love pho. Obviously, Quick Pack in the CD. You get the fucking chicken wings from there. Like that's always been top tier. I can only say those because like now like my diet is like dictated and controlled by my wife, which I'm not mad at, because you see the results.
Okay, before the transition to food, barbecue versus surf and turf.
Barbecue.
Where would you say is to get the best barbecue out here?
I don't know about barbecue, but I'd say the best like wings. There was like a chicken wing spot. There was like an Asian chicken wing spot out here, it was like in Tacoma that Skip showed me. And then there was a studio session. I came out here, and then like he had ordered some, and then like I ate them, and I was like, "Bro, where'd you get those from?" He was like, "Oh, I forgot what the place is called. Like, pardon me, but like I ordered like 2 things of wings from there, and went home, told my wife." I was like, "Man, these wings is crazy. Like, we gotta like I was wanting to go back to Tacoma like every day. Like, man, I'm thinking about them wings like every day." I do not know what the place is called, but like their fucking wings were incredible.
All right, teriyaki or pho?
Teriyaki.
Okay. Where's the best place to get some teriyaki?
When I stayed out north, out in Lake City, there was a dope ass teriyaki spot, like right next to my house. It was like a little mom and pop shop, and they had like the best teriyaki, had the best egg rolls, like, yeah. I forgot what the name is called, but I know a husband and a wife run the shop, but they had the best teriyaki that I've ever eaten.
Are you into video games?
I'm personally not. My oldest son is. He's on all the games. He's on like Fortnite. He's on 2K. He does like a lot of the computer gaming and shit. Like my wife used to play Call of Duty. Like I stopped playing video games. Like I probably say like 2K10. Like that was the last one that I played. Or right like 2K11. But yeah. Ever since then, I haven't really been in the video games.
What's your thoughts on black culture in Seattle? Like, what's your favorite part about it, and what do you hate about it?
I think the best thing about black culture is just us being able to express ourselves unapologetically and just be fearless. You know, that's the number one thing. Like, if we can do that, like, it don't matter what no one else says. Like, as long as we're being fearless about what we do and how we want to express ourselves and the shit that we create, like, we don't need validation from anyone else, you know, but ourselves. So that's what I love. What I hate is us thinking that we need the validation from others when we really don't. So once we cut that off and act like we don't need it, and because we don't, then we'll be better off in that way, I feel.
What do you want to see moving forward from artists and producers in the city?
Be fearless, be creative, be different, be unique, stand out, help each other, you know, build each other up. There's enough room for all of us to be creative and make money or get clout or whatever you want to accomplish in doing this. There's enough room for all of us to do what we want to do. So I would just say, be fearless and just create, constantly create.
What's some game you have to give to the youth out there watching, maybe hoping or thinking to take on producing and making beats?
Save everything. I got it tatted. Save everything. Save everything. Everything you work on, save it. Take pictures enjoy the moment, but then you can also look back at the moments that you shared, and you'll thank yourself. I have so many pictures. I have so much memorabilia from the stuff that I've worked on and from the places I've been, whether it was overseas, out in Asia. So, yeah. I would say my message to the world is unite. Unite and build a better future for our young kids and for the next generations that come before us. Because at some point, we're going to become the ancestors. So the best thing you can do while you're here is make a better world than how you left it. So I would just say that.
Where can we find your beats and follow your journey to support you along the way? And make sure you give your app for the audience.
So I got my personal website, AntwonVinson.com. You can find my music. You can find my beats and my music on there. You can find my music on Spotify, on iTunes, Apple Music, all the DSPs that you go and get your music. I'm there. YouTube. So, and then my socials are Antwon, ANTWON _ Vinson, VINSON. So yeah, that's for all my socials. So, and also Google me too.
All right, bro. It was great having you. It's always a pleasure working with you, seeing you.
Yes, sir.
For Spitters Only, Antwon Vincent, we out.
We out. Thank y'all for having me. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Love it.